every Championship club's player of the season so far, in my opinion. Let's go. For Sheffield Wednesday, I'm going to go Dishon Bernard. We don't have a great amount of choices. Wednesday have been so dreadful so far this season, but I feel like Bernard's been a tidy pickup for them. He's looked relatively composed compared to a lot of their other players at this level. And when I look at players in that Wednesday team who I think could make an impact in other Championship clubs, he's probably someone that I look towards. QPR's player of the season so far, I'm going to go for Kenneth Powell. I think he's been a really solid pickup for QPR since they got him on a free last summer. He's got 4 goal contributions so far this season with 3 goals and an assist, and looks like he'll be playing a slightly more inverted role under Cifuentes, which I'm excited to see more of. Rotherham's best player so far, I'm going to go with Victor Johansson. I feel like he's been left high and dry by his defence sometimes, but he's faced more shots than any other Championship goalkeeper so far. He's also made more saves than any other Championship goalkeeper. He's one of the best in the business, and the Millers will be significantly worse off without him. Huddersfield, I'm going to go for Jack Radoni. I don't feel as if Huddersfield have a plethora of quality throughout that squad right now, but he is one of the players that I look towards and I have been really impressed with so far this season. 3 goals and an assist up until this point from midfield. If they are going to survive this season, he's going to be absolutely crucial to that. Coventry, I'm going to go with Josh Eccles. Despite Coventry having an overall fall off, I feel like he's someone who's come on a bit this season. Regular in the starting 11, now started in 15 of the 16 matches so far this season. Played more minutes than any other player for Coventry so far this season, and has probably been their most reliable player when looking for a consistent performance. Plymouth, there are a few honourable mentions, but I think I'll have to give it to Morgan Whittaker with 10 goal contributions in his first 16 Championship matches. That's some record. The hat-trick against Norwich being the real highlight of his season so far, but prior to this international break, he'd been on a really good goal-scoring run. Birmingham, I'm going to have to give it to Jay Stansfield. We all know how impactful these Premier League loanees can be for Championship clubs, and Blues have got an absolute gem on their hands for the season in Fulham loanee Stansfield. 5 goals and an assist so far. His movement's brilliant around the box, and he's got a killer eye for a finish as well. Swansea's best player so far, I'm going to go with Josh Key. Been quite impressed with him since his arrival from Exeter. Adds some real energy down that right-hand side. He averages 1.8 dribbles per game, which is more than any other Swansea player, and also has a couple of goal contributions to show for this season so far. Norwich, it's a toss-up between 2 players, but I think I'm going to give it to Gabriel Sara. He's created 49 chances in the Championship so far, which is the second most of any player. 5 goals, 5 assists. I think this is the best football he's ever played of his career, although Johnny Rowe also deserves an honourable mention. For Millwall, I'm going to go for Bartosz Białkowski. I think the veteran goalkeeper who was out in the cold for a little bit last season, been brought back into the frame this time around, and on the whole I've been pretty impressed. For shot prevention this season, he's been the 4th best goalkeeper in the Championship. I think on the whole a lot of Millwall's outfield players have been pretty inconsistent, but Białkowski made plenty of eye-catching saves so far. Stoke City, I'm going to go with Ben Pearson. This may be my Preston bias coming through, my love for Ben Pearson, but whenever I've caught a glimpse of Stoke this season, especially over a full 90 minutes, Pearson's always a crucial player with how Alex Neil wants to play. Yes, he's been an absolute yellow card magnet so far, picking up 7 bookings, but when it comes to marking an opposition player out of the game and really marshalling that Stoke midfield, I've been really impressed so far. With Watford, I think I'm going to go Mateus Martins. We've got to see more of the Brazilian youngster in the Watford shirt this season. Of course, spent the second half of last season on loan with Watford, where we got to see a few glimpses of him, but really grown in importance this season. Started in 11 out of the 16 matches we've had so far this season and has scored 4 goals in that time. Very tidy player on the ball, but Ken Sema was also another honourable mention for this spot for Watford. Blackburn Rovers, of course I'm going for Sammy Smodics. In the absence of Blackburn having a properly prolific striker, that goal scoring burden has been thrust upon Smodics this season, and he's really been thriving in that side, making those late runs from midfield, and 10 goals, 2 assists from his first 16 Championship matches is absolutely excellent. He's currently leading the Golden Boot race in the Championship. He's currently on course to scoring over 20 goals from midfield, which will be an absolutely exceptional season. Bristol City, I think I'm going to go for Rob Dickie. I think he's turned out to be a really good signing from QPR. Towards the end of his spell with QPR, he had a bit of a dip in form, but now at Ashton Gate seems to have got himself back to his very best. He's scored 2 match-winning goals so far this season, and overall I think he's been a really solid member of that Bristol City back back line. For Middlesbrough, I'm going to go for Isaiah Jones. Had a couple of options for this one, but I really think that Jones has looked back to his best this time around. He still put up some solid numbers last season, but I know he went through some off-the-pitch troubles. This time around, though, he has looked back to his sharpest best and can be absolutely electric springing off that right-hand side. He's got 3 goal contributions so far this season, and I imagine in terms of defenders who hate coming up against specific wingers, a lot of fullbacks this season will be dreading facing Jones. With Cardiff, I've got to go for Perry NG. 3 goals so far this season, but has been such a crucial performer in this Errol Bullock system. Now, it's got to be said that when Cardiff picked up NG from Crewe all those years ago, that has to be one of the most underrated bits of business that a Championship club has done in these past few years, because despite the highs and lows that Cardiff have had in that time, NG's always been a really consistent performer, and I feel like now the overall level of this Cardiff side has risen, we're just being able to see him shine even more because of that. Hull's best player so far this season, I've got to go for Jaden Philogene. Time after time, he just has defenders on strings. You don't know if he's going to go left or right, comfortable going off either foot. Got a real burst of pace about him, but that close control is absolutely devastating. 3 goals and 5 assists so far this season. He's been by far and away Hull's most creative player, and in those really tight matches, a lot of the times it has been Philogene proving to be the difference. That was certainly the case when Preston travelled to Hull earlier in the season, and I mean, he looks like a player with the Premier League in his future, doesn't he? For West Brom, I think I'm going to have to go for John Swift, and I know that he's missed a chunk of the season through injury, but 6 goals in 9 Championship matches is an absolutely outstanding return, especially for a midfielder. From his days at Reading and now at West Brom, Swift has been one of my favourite players in the Championship for quite some time. Definitely one of the best creative outlets. Very much looking forward to him being back fit and in that West Brom starting 11. For Sunderland, I'm going to have to give it to Jack Clarke. There were a few honourable mentions that I was umming and ahhing about, but Jack Clarke has been the game decider in so many matches for Sunderland this season. 9 goals and an assist in his first 16 matches, and it really feels like Clarke has risen to the occasion of being that main man for Sunderland, especially this season in the absence of Amad Diallo. This time around, it's all about Clarke. He's already matched his goal output from last season, and there's still a lot more to come from the 22-year-old. At my side, Preston, I'm going to give it to captain Alan Brown. I think that we as North End fans maybe at times are a little bit guilty of taking Brown for granted because he's been at the club for so long and we've had so many other brilliant midfielders, but Brown's always been that consistent part of this midfield, but this season especially, I really feel like his level has gone up a notch or two. It feels like he's taken on even more responsibility. His creative numbers have been excellent this season, and he also scored in back-to-back matches before the international break with goals against Coventry and Blackburn. That Blackburn finish, by the way, an absolute peach of a goal. Definitely some other honourable mentions though. I think that Brad Potts is really good and was definitely in for a shout with this. Dwayne Holmes has really impressed me, and obviously Lindsay has been a solid performer as ever. Southampton, I'm giving it to Kyle Walker-Peters. Whenever I've watched the Saints this season, Walker-Peters has consistently been their best player on the pitch. I think we saw it from game week 1 against Sheffield Wednesday when he was absolutely fantastic, and since that point I think he's been brilliant at stepping into midfield, being a major part of this possession-heavy system under Russell Martin. But Adam Armstrong, definitely another honourable mention with 9 goals and 3 assists. Leeds United, I think I'm going to have to give it to Somerville. If you'd have asked me this a few weeks ago, maybe I would have given it to Rutter. Maybe before that I would have given it to Ampadu, even Archie Gray, a shout in there. But I think that Somerville's performances, especially in those last few weeks leading up to the international break, have just been on a new level entirely. He's got 6 goals and 5 assists so far this season. If we're using who scored average match ratings, he's been the best player outright in the Championship so far this season. Leeds have had a lot of top performers this season, but especially of late, I think I have to give it to Somerville. Ipswich Town, I'm going to give it to Leif Davis. I was between him and Broadhead. You could even maybe throw someone like Morsey in there as well, but what an impact he's had from fullback so far this season. 7 assists in 15 matches. He's created more chances than any other Championship player, with 53 chances created for his teammates so far this season. An absolutely exceptional return for a brilliant player who has been one of the top performers in the Championship so far this season. Finishing it off with Leicester, I'm going to go for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Now, I think think a lot of Leicester fans would tell you that Harry Winks anchoring that midfield has been just as, if not more important than Dewsbury Hall to the overall way that Leicester go ahead and play. But I think in terms of being that final guy on the end of chances and really producing those match-winning moments, it is often Dewsbury Hall who's the guy getting the headlines. 5 goals, 6 assists so far this season. Only Gabriel Sara and Leif Davis have created more chances than he has in the Championship so far. But let's not get it twisted. Leicester have got plenty of top performers who I could have picked out for this one. Well guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do you agree with my selections? Obviously you will have seen more of your club than I have so far this season, so do let me know down below who would you personally pick out as your player of the season so far. 300 likes on today's video would be massively appreciated, and if you're not already, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Also check out the TikTok, we are posting regularly over there at the moment. But apart from that guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.